Hello, I'm Martyn Brown from Martyn Brown's Marketing Bugle podcast, helping you market your business online. Thank you for listening. There are e-learning courses and other bonuses that you can take for free, which are associated with this series of podcasts. Visit my website, martynbrown.com, for details. That's Martyn with a Y. You can also join my monthly magazine, Digital Bugle, which is downloadable every issue by subscribing to my email updates. Today, we are privileged to have John Assaraf join us. John is an internationally recognized entrepreneur, brain researcher, and expert in the psychology of success. Not only has he grown multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, but he's also a best-selling author and CEO of Neurogym, a company that uses the most advanced methods and evidence-based brain training methods to help individuals unleash their fullest potential. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be on, Martyn, and hello to your Marketing Bugle followers and to the Growth Star Academy members.
Yes, they'll all be listening right now. Could we start by asking you what initially drew you into the field of brain research and neurodevelopment?
I was fascinated with what we were discovering about the human brain, and specifically, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I felt like I wasn't smart enough. I felt like I was inadequate when I was a kid because I failed English and failed math. I left high school at grade 11. And so I just felt like I wasn't supposed to succeed because I was told if you didn't have a proper education, you probably weren't going to do well in life. And I ended up meeting this one man who really understood the power of the mind. And he was a Napoleon Hill student of the book Think and Grow Rich. And so he started to teach me the power of self-talk, the power of visualization, the power of developing the beliefs and the identity to achieve goals versus believing in my current beliefs and believing in what I thought I should achieve or not achieve because of my scholastic background and education. And so I got a healthy dose of what the human brain is capable of at a very young age. And because it helped transform my life, I've studied it now for 44 years.
44 years. I'm sure you've got many insights which we can maybe dive into as we get into this. What was the inspiration, though, behind you founding Neurogym, and how does that reflect maybe on your personal mission now?
I've been somebody who's exercised most of my life to stay in really good physical shape and to have energy and vitality and to look good and feel good. But I also was doing a lot of inner work. And I was looking to stay calm, reduce stress, have more confidence, have more certainty, have more personal power, tap into my fullest potential. And one of the things that I realized during my journey is there were a lot of people that knew what they should do. A lot of people know they should exercise and eat well and sleep, but they don't do it. And a lot of people know how they can make more money. And a lot of people know what they can do to have a better relationship. And a lot of people know a lot of stuff. But why weren't we doing what we knew we should be doing? Why weren't we doing, what we already knew how to do? And so I got fascinated with the neuroscience side of us. And I realized that the inner game determines the outer game. And I coined these terms, neuromuscles and Innercise, for my own ease of understanding. And I realized that our self-image was either strong or weak. Our self-image was either constructive, building us up, or it could be destructive, tearing us down. I also realized that we have empowering beliefs, but we also have disempowering beliefs. And some of them are negative and some of them are downright lies. And so I started to Innercise a lot, to train my own brain. And then I started to train my students' brains, people that were following my work, that read my books or saw me in one of my movies that I was in. And they started to achieve the same results. And in essence, we were training their brains. So just you go to the gym, maybe to train your body and cardiovascular system, I was helping people rewire their brain, strengthen their neuromuscles so that they felt confident, certain, unstoppable, and they started achieving their goals and dreams as fast as I was. And so I knew that there was something to brain training, and that's why I started Neurogym. That's why I wrote my best-selling book, Innercise, is to give people the brain exercises, so to speak, to train the different aspects of the brain, which is a $100 billion tool that most people don't know how to use.
Which is amazing in itself. Innercise has become, as you say, a bestseller worldwide. It's groundbreaking in terms of the content, but in terms of getting that out to an audience and getting people to buy into this, what were the steps that you took, John, to make this happen?
Yeah, I had to break it down for people to be able to really understand it. So I'll give you an example. When I ask anybody, how important is your self-talk to yourself? Whether you say, I'm good enough to achieve this, or I'm not good enough to achieve this. When you say, I'm too young, or I'm too old. When you say, I don't know how to do this, you're giving your brain an instruction, and your brain follows through with whatever self-talk you're using on yourself. So self-talk matters. Self-talk creates thoughts that are consistent with the self-talk. So if I'm negatively talking to myself on an ongoing basis, is it any wonder that the majority of my thoughts will be negative? And if the majority of thoughts are negative, which, by the way, on a statistical basis, 80% of the average person's thoughts in a day are negative. And we have 6,200 thoughts as of the latest research last year. And if we have 5,000 negative thoughts a day on average, and we repeat those thoughts 90% of each day after day, the majority of our population is negative, is disempowering themselves. So negative self-talk creates negative or disempowering emotions. Negative or disempowering emotions create behaviors that we don't want. So when we talk negatively to ourselves, we feel the negative aspects of what we're saying, and then we behave in those ways. And we wonder why we're not achieving goals. So I started to understand that self-talk has a direct correlation to how I feel, has a direct correlation to what I do or don't do. So self-talk's important. Next is understanding the effect on how I feel based on what I do. And so, for example, if I feel afraid of failing, if I feel that I might be embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, judged, rejected, abandoned, if I feel like I might disappoint myself or somebody else, what are the chances that I'm actually going to take action? The answer is very slim, because we've discovered about the human brain, we will do more to avoid pain or discomfort than we will to gain pleasure. And so there's some automatic processes in the brain that prevent us from taking action as a protective mechanism, not because we don't want to take the action. We're just making sure that we don't suffer the consequences of maybe making a mistake or of feeling embarrassed or ashamed, judged, or failing. So when we start to understand that self-talk matters, when we start to understand that feelings matter, and we start to understand that I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings. I have thoughts, I have feelings, and I can learn how to actually have better management of them. And we start off with becoming aware of thoughts, becoming aware of emotions or feelings, and become aware of the actions I'm taking or not taking. And it's in that awareness through innercising that we can start to deliberately, for example, take our automatic negative thoughts and deliberately choose an automatic positive thought and replace it. We can realize, like a Hollywood actress can change her feelings in a second from being really angry to laughing hysterically. She learns how to turn on or off specific emotions required for the scene. Can I learn how to feel something and say, you know what? I want to flip from this feeling to a more empowering, constructive feeling and state, physiological state that will help me take action instead of staying in my comfort zone. Of course we can, which then leads to the world of habits. And our brain automates everything that we repeat. So if we repeat thoughts that are negative, it automates it. If we repeat emotions that are negative, it automates it. If we repeat being a procrastinator or a self-saboteur, it just automates it in the form of a habit. So then we have to deliberately say, okay, a habit is nothing more than a reinforced loop to conserve energy for the brain. Can I deactivate or atrophy a habit pattern that may be not serving me, and deliberately now, using the latest in neuroscience, right, create and reinforce a new, powerful, empowering, constructive habit that will help me achieve my health, wealth, relations, career, business goals? And the answer is absolutely.
For sure.
So this is where we dive into the world of, I really have more control than I think I have.
And I know that a lot of your workings have been taken now and used in various therapy sessions. I guess one of the things that you touched on before, John, is it's almost like the muscle memory, isn't it? If you are repeating negative things to yourself over and over again, it's almost like the opposite of going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you do reps on a piece of equipment. It's to build muscle. It's to grow. You are doing the same thing, but in a negative form, if you like. And if you are still just repeating those negative thoughts over and over again, how do you break that cycle, though? What are the tips you would give somebody who's looking to break out of that way of thinking?
Yeah, and I think we should also emphasize that it's not just negative patterns that we reinforce. We also reinforce the patterns that may be giving us some success right now, but we need new patterns if what we want to achieve is different than what we already have, right? So the first part is to realize that you're not a tree. You can change. And the science of neuroplasticity basically says that we have 85 billion brain cells. At any given moment, we can activate and create new patterns, new reinforced patterns. So let's say I have a belief. Let's just use a belief as an example, right? I'm too old to achieve this or do this, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't deserve to, blank, right? Fill in the blank. What if we wrote down that belief, and what if we just rewrote it in a different way that will actually empower the brain versus reinforce the pattern we don't want anymore? And what if we said, in the past, I used to believe I wasn't smart enough, wasn't good enough, or that I was too old to achieve blank or blank. And now I'm deliberately thinking, feeling, and acting as if I am smart enough, good enough, and worthy enough, and I am just the right age to achieve what I want to achieve. So now all of a sudden, we are giving our biocomputer, our brain, new instructions that will actually open up the power of our brain's ability to take actions that are aligned with what we're saying. So instead of reinforcing, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm too old, why not change the script? In changing the script, we change the biochemistry of what's happening in our brain. In changing our biochemistry, we change the feeling, because biochemistry is the chemicals that are released into the bloodstream that causes a feeling. So all of a sudden, if I say in the past, I used to think or feel this, and now I'm choosing to feel and think this, our brain says, oh, okay. And now the motivational circuit turns on for the new idea, the new emotion. And so now if we did that for one day, it would be nice. We'd feel good. But if I did it for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 30 days deliberately, the same thing would happen in our brain that would happen in the gym. Just if you started today to lift, let's say 5 pounds of weight or 2 kilos of weight, And maybe it wasn't that hard today. And then in a week or two, you added more resistance. In a week or two, you added a little bit more resistance. And a week after that, you had a little bit more resistance. You would build the muscle, you would get stronger. That's exactly how our brain's neuromuscles work. So as soon as we start to build a new neuromuscle or reinforce one, it starts to build, and then the science of habits kick in. And our brain says, hey, since you've been doing this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, let me just automate it so that it requires zero conscious effort. And I'm going to create a subconscious pattern and move it from this hard work and a lot of effort part of the brain into the a lot less work and effort less part of the brain, otherwise known as the subconscious, which is what most people do not do more of to condition, to train. And that's the power center. So we start off with small empowering actions, and those small empowering actions build a habit, and then the habit starts to build you.
It's amazing. Also, I know you've written Innercise, which is an amazing book in itself. If anybody's listening to this, reading this, and it's definitely a book you should check out, but also you have a book, Having It All, which takes it to the next level. It's about not just conditioning your brain, but also everything that goes along with that. Maybe you could just touch on that for us, please, John.
Yeah, and with we also released an Innercise app that tens of thousands of people are absolutely loving, with thousands of 5-star reviews. So that's in the App Store. Having It All was a body of work that I developed in asking myself this question many years ago. Is it possible? First, the question was, is it possible to be healthy, to be happy, to be confident, to have a great family and be a great father and husband, and health, wealth, relationships, career, business? Is it possible to have it all? And the answer is yes. When you focus on having it all, you can develop the mindset, you can develop the skill set, you can develop the habits to have it all. Now, sometimes it's not possible to have it all at the same time. Okay. But the idea that can I be healthy and happy and wealthy in each area of my life, not just financial wealth, the answer is yes. As opposed to saying the answer is no, and here's all the reasons why not. Why not start with the answer is yes, it's possible, and then ask, what would I need to think in order to make that a reality? What would I need to feel in order to make that a reality? What would I need to do every day? In what order to make that a reality? And here's what you quickly start to realize. Energy will flow to where your attention goes. So if your energy and attention goes to investing a little bit of time on your health and wealth and relationship and whatever it is that's important to you, a little bit every day, everything gets a little bit better every day. And if everything gets a little bit better every day or every week, then over the course of a month, maybe there's not that much change. But over the course of a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, things become surprisingly better because of the law of compounding effect. And for those that may not know what the law of compounding effect, here's a little quiz for you. What would you prefer? $1 million today, or $1 today, but the amount doubles every day? So today you get $1, tomorrow you get $2, the next day it's $4, the next day it's $8. Now, some people would get really excited about the $1 million right now. But what they don't realize is on day 30, you have less than $1 million. But on day 31, you have almost 50, 60, 70% more than $1 million if you just wait that extra day. Because the law of compounding effort, the law of compounding effect, the law of compounding behaviors have an exponentially greater return with time. So when we develop and reinforce what I call our constructive patterns in the brain, self-talk, emotional, and behaviors, then we have a compounding effect over the course of our lifetime. And then we can start to say, oh my God, yes, having it all is possible, and having it all is probable when you lay out the foundations for actually making that a reality.
If anybody who is interested in finding out more about Neurogym, about you, yourself, John, where do we need to go to do that? What do we need to do?
Sure. I'm on Instagram every day. I'm on Facebook every day. They can go to the johnassaraf.com website. They can hop into one of our events that we have at brainathon.com. Is great. We have an event with myself and a whole bunch of world-renowned brain and success experts. And they can start following our work at myneurogym.com.
Excellent. And one final question, if I may.
Sure.
Could you leave our listeners and viewers maybe with just one actionable insight that they can implement today, which would improve their mental health?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to give you two things that I want everybody to do. Number one is I want you to write out a vision for your life that would really excite you around health, wealth, relationships, career, business. Write that out. And then I want you to write out some goals of things you are going to do, things you want to achieve in the next 30 days. And then create a little plan of what you're going to do every day to move closer towards those goals. So that's part one. So we're going to get a vision, some goals, and some action plans. But part two, for your mental fitness, what I want you to do is take 3 minutes every morning. First minute, come up with as many things as you are grateful for, that you are grateful for. It could be, I'm grateful for breathing. I'm grateful for waking up today. I'm grateful for my best friend, my dog, my cat, my water. Oh my God, water, the sheets of my bed. Start with 1 minute to activate the reward center of the brain, because dopamine will be released and you will feel really good being grateful. Number two, I want you to just sit there and I want you to visualize yourself already achieving something that's important to you. A health goal, relationship goal, career goal, business goal, financial goal, whatever it is, just visualize yourself, see yourself and feel yourself achieving that goal. And do that for 1 minute. And then the next minute, so this is 3 minutes, gratitude 1 minute, visualize the goal you want to achieve and feel it next minute. And the third minute, take out a piece of paper or your mobile phone and write out 3 action steps you commit to taking today, like today, to move you closer to that goal you just envisioned. Now we have just set up a pattern in the brain of gratitude, a pattern in the brain for feeling and visualizing what we want, and a pattern in the brain for writing out 3 things that we're going to do to achieve that goal, and then take action that day to do those 3 things, no matter what. So keep it simple at first. Simple. So it doesn't matter if it's like one little thing. Now you teach yourself that you're an action taker versus somebody who just hopes and prays and dreams.
This stuff fascinates me. That's amazing, John. And something we were talking about recently with the Marketing Bugle and the Growth Star Academy. Thank you so much, anyway, for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
For more online business podcasts and to request an interview for the podcast, visit martynbrown.com for details. That's Martyn with a Y. Thank you for listening.